Hi, doing a quick video on Paralives. So this is of course brand new. I have not covered Paralives content in forever, but it seems like they're starting to wake up. So I wanted to cover this really quick. So there was a recently made public Patreon post from Alex Massey. He's one of the creators of Paralives. I don't subscribe to Patreon for Paralives, so I wait until the post become public to read about it. But this one kind of was interesting to me because it talks about the autonomy system for paras. So in the post here, it just talks about the different types of autonomy. That's going to be how the paras act in the game. So there are 5 types of autonomy. There's idle autonomy, which is what characters do when their interaction queue is empty. There's forced autonomy, so situations where the game interrupts or cancels an action, usually during an important event like going to work or filling an urgent need like bladder. There's chained autonomy, so it's automatic follow-up actions based on a previous interaction. The example they use is a neat character would wash their hands after using the bathroom. There's town autonomy, which is what all the NPCs and people in interesting spots around town will be doing. And then eventually, not in early access, there will be story progression. So NPCs will do things like change jobs, form new relationships, have children, or move. Now that's not going to be in early access, so they're going to focus on the first 2 types, which is basically the idle autonomy and then the forced autonomy. So with the idle autonomy, it's just going to show a lot of the character's identity. So when the character has nothing to do for a few minutes in game, this is how it'll work. So for some examples that they use is a musically talented character with a high piano skill may just autonomously play the piano, unless they've already practiced too much that day. Or a neat para might autonomously clean dirty things around the house. Or some actions are universal, like watching TV. Or if your para is sad, they may go to the bathroom to cry it out. So that's interesting to see that paras, their personalities will influence what they do when they have nothing else to do in the game, which is interesting to me because I think, not that I want to compare Paralives to any other life sim, but I know that autonomy has been a big thing in life simulation games. What does your life sim character do when there's nothing to do? And how do they prioritize their needs? It doesn't make sense for any life sim to ignore the fact that yes, throughout the day your character might have a job to go to or school, or they might have an urgent need like they're dying of hunger, or they need to use the bathroom, or they're about to fall asleep, and they should be able to manage some of their own skills on their own without having me as the player having to tell them to go to the bathroom. So they should know their needs are coming too low to the bottom. So with forced autonomy, it's going to help the characters kind of self-manage. So for example, when it's time for a para to go to work, the game will automatically cue the go to work interaction. So it's not really adding an interaction, it's canceling one. So another example they use is if a character has been playing an instrument for hours and then they become bored or tired, the game will force them to stop and address that need. So that will help them from getting stuck in endless activities when something more important comes along. Now you can always stop this from happening by either turning off autonomy altogether, or you can cancel autonomous interactions, but at least it will trigger it on the game's end, so you don't have to necessarily micromanage. In the clip that you see in the middle, it's a group of paras who are at a gym working out, and they stop using the gym equipment like a yoga mat or a treadmill to go to the bathroom and then go right back to the activity. So it's like at least they acknowledged that they were in the middle of something and they went right back to it, instead of just stopping the activity, going to the bathroom, and then doing nothing. So eventually they're going to be working on character autonomy, which will only be active for the household that you're actively playing. And you can either choose to have autonomy on. You can have autonomy on for select characters and off for other characters, or have autonomy 100% off. And this is going to be working with the NPC community lots. So the examples that they're using is that a barista at a cafe may autonomously clean tables or serve drinks, which would make sense in that kind of a setting. Now I wanted to pop over because we are coming up on Summer Game Fest weekend, which is formerly known as E3 before E3 disappeared. So on the Paralives subreddit, for those of you who are on social media, one of the developers posted a big teaser that Paralives is going to be showcasing something on Sunday, June 8th at 3 p.m. EDT. And I'm not sure if this is just going to be new gameplay footage, or are they finally going to give us a release date. I know last year they said that the Paralives was going to go into early access sometime in 2025. At this point, we're 6 months throughout the year, and we haven't really gotten any new information in terms of release date specifically. And of course, we're still getting drip feed these public Patreon posts. But of course, they're a few months behind. The post that I just read was from May, but I didn't get to see it until June because I'm not subscribed to the Patreon. But I thought that was interesting overall. I'm looking forward to it. I usually do watch the PC gaming show anyways as a part of Summer Game Fest, but now I definitely want to watch it so I can see what Paralives is going to announce. I'll try to start including more Paralives coverage on this channel as it is a new life sim. I will note that I don't plan on covering Inzoi. Not that I wasn't originally excited for Inzoi, but the use of generative AI is something that I don't feel 100% comfortable with until they make a more firm effort to make it ethical and explain exactly how they're making it ethical. I think I'm going to hold off on Inzoi at this time. Paralives doesn't seem to have that problem. They're a small 13-person studio, and they're not using generative AI for anything like sound and artwork, so I'm going full-fledged ahead. I'll definitely be pre-ordering Paralives once it is available in early access, as long as they don't change their stance on generative AI. But let me know in the comments below, are you going to be tuning in to Paralives' showcase in the PC gaming show?